Well, it's kind of hard to be all positive and happy right now. It's sad. I'm gonna say we're live, so
Yeah, awful news. Awful news to be uh, hearing anytime, but especially around this time of the year too. It just it's. I think we're all shocked. Well, we it's awful. The man had two young children. He was married, 41 years old. Um, I mean, for the most part, I mean, the people like us that know about him, we liked him, and the stories we've heard about how good of a guy he is to like everybody. I mean, there's the pro wrestling world is hurting tonight, um, and we'll be hurting for a few days. That.
the pain's gonna be like immense because as as around, like especially around holidays, like the last few days, and I'm gonna speak from my own experience of like loss and stuff and pain. It really is one of those things that's something where you when you lose somebody like in a certain way, it really affects you to a core. um it is very, very sad, especially how talented he is. I've watched some of those interviews he did, and he was very articulate. I think you would probably agree with that, Rob, if you saw some of the stuff he's talked about. He was very thoughtful, very happy. A lot of the interviews I've watched him do over the time, especially when WWE wasn't using him that much. But still, he was very, very happy from what I could tell.
Yeah.
Anakin's now joining us. It's kind of a sad thing. So, Rob, what are your thoughts on all this?
Um, as weird as this sounds, it's starting to hit me more right now. Just seeing some of the tweets, and I was just on with in the mod doing the Fightful stuff, and
Yeah, I was too.
it's like I said at the beginning, it's just absolutely awful. I'm heartbroken for him and his family and his friends and even us fans. He loved what he did, and I'm also my somebody I know actually knows him personally. Went to college with him. He was in his wedding. Chris Harrington, who is one of the vice presidents in AEW. They went to college together. They're friends, and um, I feel awful for him. And I feel bad for everyone who is hurting tonight. I was just thinking the other night, like, man, I wonder when he's coming back. When I was covering AEW on Fightful, I was actually like wondering. I'm like, man, he should be coming back soon, and I'm kind of anxious to see what they can do with the Dark Order, because Dark Order's been pretty interesting, and um, it stinks. And I've seen him in some fantastic matches. I watched a lot of his earlier stuff. I had the pleasure of saying that I've seen one of his best WWE matches. It was it was a 6-man tag match. It was the Wyatt family versus the Shield at Elimination Chamber 2014. It was one of the best matches that I've been able to see. It's right up there with like Finn Balor versus AJ Styles at TLC that I was able to see. So many good matches, and that's right up there. And seeing them on TV and then hearing the stories, like seeing and hearing how much this man was loved is it's good to like it's comforting to know how many lives John Huber touched. Majority of the fans will know him as Luke Harper, and this isn't a WWE AEW thing at all. I sometimes wish that we would have been able to learn more about him, like to be able to see more. We didn't get much time of him, and he didn't get much time. 41 years is way too short. And other than that, I just, yeah, I don't. I'm just
It's
my
flabbergasting. Yeah,
my yeah, my heart basically is crushed, and it's because he he's he has two kids that lost a father, and we it's one of those things that we take you never know when we take things for granted sometimes, and it's too bad. But my heart goes out to him. And Triple H just actually tweeted, amazing talent, better human being, husband and father. WWE tweeted 40 seconds ago that WWE is saddened to learn that John Huber, known to WWE fans as Luke Harper, passed away today at age 41. WWE extends its condolences to Huber's family, friends, and fans. So they just said that. So, okay. But yeah. Hi, Anakin.
Hey.
Sorry, man.
No, you're all right. By the way, just so lighten spirits for just a minute. I didn't recognize you at first because you're so clean shaven, but it looks nice.
Thanks.
Nice.
I got in a fight with a lawnmower.
He looks like he's in his 20s. Let's try to be lively about it. So, and just to put this in perspective, right, and not to go back on the sad point, I will be, what is it, one day and 61 days from now, I'll be 40. Now put that in perspective, right?
Wow. Yeah.
So from something like this, as a fan, though, is heartbreaking, but someone as a human, it makes you realize how precious our lives are. It's sad. It really is. But he had two kids. His wife adored him. You could see that from everything that's been said. The interview I saw him a while back, I was just flipping through stuff. He was talking about how much he loves his kids, how much he wanted to be more creative to make their lives a lot better. Not his life, but theirs. I think for me, and I said this in the Fightful chat when Sean was covering this, is that he was one of the most entertaining performers I've seen in a long time. And that says something because of AJ and stuff like that. But I'm talking about body language, articulation, vocal, and all that stuff. And for me, his run on SmackDown, the matches he had against AJ and Orton, and the Wyatt stuff, the Bludgeon Brothers were awesome. I watched off and on, catch a little bit of the AEW stuff, but it's like, it's insane.
It's interesting because Rob had talked about how, most people will know him as Luke Harper, and it's hard to believe, but like when this year started, he was Luke Harper in WWE. He didn't arrive in AEW until March, and he came in, the very first episode of Dynamite that they did at Daly's place, which was originally supposed to be in his hometown, and yet, and so he was on AEW for 9 months, and yet to hear the name Luke Harper, like that's almost kind of foreign to me. Like, he's Brody Lee. Like, that's who he is, and I think that's a testament that because he was in WWE for what
A
for like
while.
for like how
It
many?
felt like a while.
I mean,
I
at least
think he
2000. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think he got there 2012, maybe
Yeah,
earlier.
I think yes, 2012 sounds about right. I mean, he's in WWE for full years, 7+ years, and yet over 9 months, like he showed us really more of his ability as a wrestler in AEW than he did in WWE. And while when looking back at his body of work, there's more to look at with WWE. I think quality wise, I think his AEW run was the best that he did. And and let's not forget, it was really when Brody Lee got revealed as the leader of the Dark Order that the Dark Order really started to really turn a corner in the quality. Like it had started getting there, but getting Brody Lee as the leader really just changed everything. It changed the ball game for the Dark Order, and you know and and him being you know the second TNT champion, and then having his last match was that dog collar match against Cody, which was, I mean, that was a great match that even that I went out of my way to go and watch it, because I haven't watched a whole lot of AEW, but I kept hearing, oh, this is a great match, and so I went and I watched it, and I was just like, wow, like it was just it was insane. And yeah, I mean, it's I'm glad to see, because I was a little worried that WWE might not have said anything because of, oh,
They
he's in AEW now, and I was
Yeah.
thinking, for a guy who was there for 5, 6+ years to not acknowledge this. So I'm really glad that WWE did go like, no, we're going to.
Yeah.
I figured they would, because the WWE and Fox Twitter account started retweeting a whole lot of stuff, but I know that's a Fox run account. That's not that's not run by WWE. But I was really glad to see that. And I mean, and you've seen people in WWE, in AEW, even independent wrestlers. Like I saw that RJ City posted a memory of things, and along with a picture of him and Brody and Mick Foley. And so just seeing it was WWE guys and EW guys and guys on the indie circuit who all looked up to him. And as Sean had said on the Fightful stream, I'm talking about this. There were veterans who had been in the business for 15 years who were looking forward to not just working with Brody, but learning from him and being able to pick his brain and and see. And I think that's a real testament to not only how good he was in this business, but also just how much of a good person he was. And Pat, you mentioned their run as his run as part of the Bludgeon Brothers. I know a lot of people didn't like it. I actually really liked it. I thought that was I thought for whatever reason, like as part of the Bludgeon Brothers, they felt unstoppable. They felt like they were these two big guys who were just devastating. And it was one of the things where when New Day won the titles from them, it almost seemed like an upset, because they had done a really good job of building up the Bludgeon Brothers as being such a dominant tag team. And I'm sad that they never got the chance to really go back to that and see what more there was. But I mean,
Yeah.
it was short, but man, what a career. I mean, you go from the Wyatt family, which was so hot in 2013. I mean, it was on fire in 2013. To go from from that, and and the great stuff in 2017 with the split of the Wyatt family to the Bludgeon Brothers, to then leading the Dark Order and his great run in AEW. I mean, he's going to be missed for sure. And I saw somebody had said, I really hope that AEW on Dynamite starts off with, "It's Wednesday. You know what that means."
Tim, you can say what you need to. You said you have to go to bed soon, so.
Yeah, I'm going to bed here in a little bit. I can stay up a little bit longer. Guys, when I heard about what happened to him, it's a fortunate incident because I know how it feels to lose someone you love and you love cared for a long time. I know how it feels. I had about a lot of people in my time since 2005, and just to hear that tonight, my God, I never thought in a long time that someone could be taken away that short. So, guys, Anakin, Rob, Throwback, everybody in the chat, don't take anything for granted. Don't. Don't take nothing for granted. Take it just as it's your last day on earth because you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm telling y'all right now.
Foul posted something, Foul Original, says, yeah, basically retweeted something that, so duty, I don't know if I'm saying that right. AEW did this privately on the 17th. A lot of fans don't know this, but most fans tend to not be interested in reading this spoiler. Bonus segment: Kenny Omega loses the AEW World Title to Brody Lee Jr.
Yeah, I heard about that. That was yeah, he actually Brody's son was actually able to pin Kenny for the title, which was awesome. That's awesome.
Iron Sheik just tweeted that Brody Lee, I am sorry, Bubba. God bless you forever. We're best big man. And then the picture is him eating the IC title. Hunter basically said amazing talent, better human being, husband and father. I don't know if Rob covered that already.
I did.
Ali just tweeted, "It's Saturday. You know what that means." R.I.P. Brody Lee.
Natalia just posted, I am heartbroken to hear the passing of Brody Lee, who was a dear friend to so many of us, and he was an amazing husband and a devoted father. His love for his family was immeasurable, and I am sending prayers and love to Amanda, Brody, Noah, and John Hubert's family. Even in our own community, it's literally, the outpouring is insane, and that's because we lift each other up. He just posted, on this day we watch college football, MMA, and be rated glorious on FaceTime. It's a lot of these tweets are rolling in quickly, so it's like, if you want to read some of these, you can too.
Yeah, I will.
John Alba, a few weeks ago, I heard about Brody Lee was ill. I didn't know the extent of it, but was told it was fairly serious matter, but they were hopeful. It was obvious a private matter, as well as worth respecting. I am so gutted by this news. What an incredible talent.
Did any of you guys ever listen to when Brody was on Jericho's podcast?
Yes, I did. I heard it. It was pretty insane.
It
was good.
That was a really good one. If you guys haven't, I would highly recommend listening to it, because Brody, he really goes into depth on not only like what all he went through in WWE, but you really get a clear sense of how much he loved his family and just what kind of person he was. And they did it, like, I think I think it came out like 2 weeks after he debuted on Dynamite. So it, really early into the pandemic. And Brody talks about, how much he was looking forward to debuting in front of his hometown crowd. But and as much as he wished he would been able to do that, he because there had been talk of, are they going to wait and just not do it and maybe wait for crowds to return and then debut? And Brody's like, no, let's just go ahead and do it. Let's just go ahead and I'll come in and we'll get this going. And I mean, imagine if they had decided to wait for crowds to come back, how much less time we would have had with him.
Also, I want to say that if anybody in the chat or anything wants to hop in, they're more welcome to. This is a positive atmosphere, and I want people to give their thoughts because the positive, even though this is a sad thing, we could breathe in some positive aspects about, being a person, being a father, being somebody who can impact somebody. And obviously, he impacted millions. Like one of my favorite matches is that he did, they were trying to set him up for the championship, but he was like a number one's contenders match to go against AJ and him and Orton. And that match was just brutal. Some of the matches that they did with the Shield were great. Some of the stuff, even some of the stuff with NXT was really good too. It's kind of sad about how everything goes. But if anybody wants to give their thoughts or anything and want to come on screen, that's fine. You can DM me or Rob or something, and we'll talk about it. But is there any other things out there, Rob, right now?
Just like other than what was said, like I know Drew McIntyre just tweeted a few minutes ago. He said, "Our entire brotherhood and industry mourns tonight. In addition to his incredible passion and talent, John was above all else a great man who loved his family more than words can say. Please keep them in your thoughts. I'll see you down the road, brother. Rest in peace, Brody." And Sammy Guevara actually tweeted right after him, says, "Heartbreaking is an understatement. This photo," he has a photo on his Twitter account. He goes, "This photo was taken during the Atlanta shows when we had to film a month of TV in 2 days. Brody was so much fun to be around." And there's just a picture of him, Brody, and it looks like Penelope Ford.
Adam Pierce tweeted just about 45 minutes ago, "I'm completely lost. Godspeed, Brody. If you have any inclined to share a prayer for his family, my heart's weeping."
Daniel Bryan, "I love you and I miss you, Brody Lee." And I knew this, but I didn't know it was. I didn't know they were as close as I'm starting to see. But Big E and Brody were really close. Big E's been posting quite a bit of photos on his Twitter account. So that's and seeing the photos and I know from like things I've seen on like the Up Down Down podcast that Brody would be on there, and when he was on there, it was they were usually pretty good stuff. So
Enzo Amore, lost for words. Guy loved being a dad, loved his kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to say one quick thought before I have to go inside because it's 32 degrees out here. But anyway, I wanted just to say this, and anyone in the chat, I want you to really hear me out on this one because this is really something that I've really been thinking about for a long time. What happens to my pops? What happened to my dad if he gone tomorrow, or my mom? What would happen to me? I wouldn't imagine, and I'm going to say this, and this is no disrespect to anyone. I'm a child to my mom and my dad. My mom and dad have been divorced since 1990 something. It's very hard to see. My mom she has multiple sclerosis, and she has a thing in her nose. She has to breathe oxygen for the rest of her life. My dad had 3 mild heart attacks. If he wouldn't stop smoking, he wouldn't see me graduate from high school. This is what I'm going to say. I would be so devastated to see one of my parents go, because they're my only 2 parents I have. And I want everyone to understand this message that I'm putting out there. Love your loved ones to the actual day that they go and they pass on. Love them, cherish them, have every single moment of your life with them, because tomorrow is never given. We can't forget. We can always love someone. We always care about them. Brody Lee tonight has showed me something, and he's taught me something. I'm not a dad. Wish I was a dad, but I'm not going to go on that. He's teaching me something, a valuable lesson. Get yourself checked. Get your family checked. Make sure everyone's healthy in your family. And most importantly, be a good person, be a lovable person, and care about people and love them and show them love and respect back to others. I think that's what people don't want to say. People don't, in the chat over in Fightful, they were just, and I'm sure Anakin, I'm sure Rob, and I'm sure Throwback, y'all seen all those people were posting all kinds of crap. And it was really hard for me not to go off, because Throwback, me, I go off pretty dang quick. But it was sad to see a lot of people just saying random crap. And guys, let's face it, in the chat as well, we always love our loved ones to the fullest. Don't take the memories that you have and lose them. Honor the people that passed on in life. If you want, do like what I'm doing with one of my family members passed the day after her birthday. I am making a memorial for her right now as we speak. That's something in my heart. That's something in my soul. And I'm going to break down and cry right now. I'm just going to go ahead and fly it out, because
Tim, breathe.
It's a really positive thing for me to do. And also, if you think about it for 1 minute, 1 second, 1 day of your life, there's always something happening. So when you see a special someone in your life, or your son or your kid or whatever, tell them you love them. Tell them you always love them. And just hug your kids or hug your family, your spouse, whatever it is. Hug them super tight and tell them you will never let go of them. Because the day when they let go, when they leave this earth, you're going to get crushed.
Yeah.
I know, I feel it. I feel it every single day of my life, because I have a lot of my friends pass. But think about this. Look at all the positive things that Brody Lee or Luke Harper, whatever, however you want to look at it. Look at all the positive things he done in life to what he came up to when he was in AEW. I can remember a match when he was with the Bludgeon Brothers, and he slammed that hammer right on the mat on the outside of the ring, and they got in and they started whipping Dale on someone. Those are the memories I had of him. And I haven't really seen a lot of his matches, but there was some of them that I've seen. And I want to let y'all know something. He is going to be really missed, and he's really loved, and he was really a beloved person. So my thoughts and prayers heavily going out to his family right now, especially his wife. That is our hardest thing to ever have. Someone passed away. What was it? 41.
Yeah, and so I'm sorry to cut you off, but
No, you're fine.
it we've talked about this for 30 minutes, and I think 30 minutes is suitable. Because there's everybody's still going, and all the news and stuff like that's still going. What is Fightful saying right now on their site, Rob, real quick?
Just they're pretty much just retweeting what different wrestlers are saying. Jeremy did post a story on it, but
there is an official statement from WWE, and then Tony Khan did tweet out, "I'm devastated by the loss of John Huber, known to fans as Mr. Brody Lee, formerly Luke Harper. John was a great man. His family came first, his loving wife Amanda, and their sons Brody and Nolan. He loved wrestling and was great at it. He loved you fans. Please keep him in your hearts."
All right. Well, Tim, go take care of yourself. We're gonna be closing out one at a time.
Yeah,
So.
actually, I'm going back inside. It's cold out here, guys. I want
right.
y'all to know. I thank you for letting me come on tonight. Throwback and Rob and Anakin. I love y'all guys. I'm gonna go back inside and I'll watch
All
the
right.
stream from in the bed. Okay. Have
Bye.
a good night, everyone.
See you later.
So, and I think you guys would agree that this time 30 minutes is good enough to talk about a great band. And because the only thing in an Irish way we could say, if I had a glass of beer, I'd say to an amazing person, amazing man who loved his family, because you can, from the perception out there, and I want you guys to give your last thoughts on this. It just seemed like he was a caring individual that would literally give the shirt off your back. So, Salancha, we salute you. Godspeed. And if you guys have anybody who goes through anything, even if it's emotional or anything, just say, like Rob and Anakin did it for me. Just pop in and say, hey, we're thinking about you. You're not alone. And loss is like that. So we have to think positive as a community. And I think for his family, we have to give our thoughts and prayers, and then not tear everybody down and send messages whenever they're ready. His family is ready to talk about what's going on and be like, our thoughts of him, the positive stuff. I know Rob has to dip out in a second. So Rob, why don't you give your last thoughts on it?
I'm at a loss for words. It's awful that he's passed, and I'm sorry for his family and his two children more than anything. I know the fans feel bad and stuff like we do, and but the most important thing to know out of all this is two kids are and a wife lost somebody they care about, and nothing I can say will make it any better other than that we need to remember the good, because there's not we just don't know. The words really aren't coming to me right now, but I just know that where I'm coming from is a good place, and I just wish his family all the best. And a lot of his friends are hurting tonight, and a lot of fans are hurting, and that's really all that can be said. So rest in peace, John Huber.
But like I said, when they're ready, people are ready to talk about it. I repeat, do not be a negative person, because if anybody has dealt stuff like this, there's very few people that me and Rob and Anakin know that if you're watching this for the first time, stumble upon the show, there's few people that we're close with that have lost a parent, and stuff. So, I mean, it's the impact of that is really there. And instead of, especially with me having lost my mom, I know how it is to lose a parent as a kid. Yes, I'm an adult, but still, I'm always going to be her kid. And just from a perspective of somebody that went through that, all the positive things that people have said to me has made it better. In the last few days, all I've heard is negative things, but having positive people help. So all I ask and I implore, and hopefully Rob and Anakin can follow behind next to me, is that if once his family is willing to open up more, don't tear the people down, build them up. They're already hurting as it is. It doesn't make any common sense. Use your own sense. Don't go into these chats and say, say derogatory things. Don't say this is, fake news. Don't say anything. Be real. Be thoughtful and honest.
And on that note, because of course people are already doing it, don't make this a WWE versus AEW thing. That's not what this is about. That is not what this is about. There are already people doing that, trying to turn this into a WWE versus AEW thing. This has nothing to do with business. Okay, this has nothing to do with business or ratings or booking or the quality of a show or pay-per-view or a match or whatever. It has nothing to do with that. This is a real human being who, yes, worked for both companies. He worked for WWE and he was on the AEW roster. But this is beyond that, and you've seen that. I mean, I saw on Twitter the official AEW Twitter account retweeted WWE on BT Sports and their tribute to it. So and the fact that Stephanie McMahon and Triple H in their stuff, they used the hashtag RIP Brody Lee. They didn't try to just refer, they didn't refer to him just as Luke Harper. They used Brody Lee. I mean, even the official WWE statement said best known to WWE fans as Luke Harper, but acknowledging that he was Brody Lee. So if AEW and WWE themselves, if they are coming together right now, and it's just the wrestling community, and people in the industry, if they're able to come together and mourn this guy and celebrate his life and his career, we should certainly be able to do that as fans. So if there's anybody out there who wants to try to make this into a company versus company thing, just stop, grow up, get a life. Clearly, if you feel compelled to do that, wrestling is not something that you should be a part of, because you don't know how to be a real human being. Just stop it.
And on that, we ended on that because of the fact that some things, like you say all the time to me, is best left as is. I say this every show, and it really hits home today. Just do a good deed, pay it forward, do something positive. We're gonna cut this now. It's sad, Rest in peace, Brody, man. Godspeed. Have a good night, guys.
Yep. See you later.